Maybe, even better things can be produced by brushing. Forget it, it's not too late to know now, but the system, why are you suddenly able to explain? Li Yiming probably understands that although the evaluation is affected by the change of the plot, it is more biased towards the realization of one's own long-cherished wish. To be able to be satisfied, no matter whether you do other things or not, the score will probably be very impressive. But, if you don't do anything, the final reward will be very lame. Ding, the system hasn't changed, it can always be explained, but you, the host, didn't ask any questions before. Is that so? Scratching his head in embarrassment, Li Yiming found that he didn't seem to have asked this question before, which made him very distressed. If he had known earlier, he should have figured it out first. But it doesn't matter, it's not too late to know now. Now that you know this mechanism, you need to use it properly in the subsequent traversal simulations. You don't need to be able to get S directly, but you must at least improve your evaluation. After all, if some high-quality talents want to be realized, they need corresponding evaluation. Don't white, green, blue, purple, orange and gold correspond to the 6 evaluations of SE? Come on, there's plenty of time, let's go on, but this reward, it's really a bit of a headache. Looking at the 4 rewards, Li Yiming showed a distressed expression. Except for the green talent that can be completely ruled out, the other 3 are all very high-quality choices, whether it is physical fitness, swordsmanship, or the last knowledge and arrogance are all strong. For a big choice, if you can directly get all 3 rewards, that would be even better. It's a pity that the evaluation is not enough, and only S+ can choose 3 rewards. There is no way, now we can only make a trade-off for the time being, but fortunately, the initial position of crossing is determined, and these can be obtained again. Thinking about it this way, Li Yiming finally felt a little more comfortable. Chapter 94 Simulate again, let red thoughts affect the world of pirates, thanks to the monthly pass of Ming Ming Ming. Physical fitness, swordsmanship, knowledgeable domineering. For Li Yiming, the 3 rewards that Li Yiming longed for are now so naked in front of his eyes. This feeling of seeing but not being able to get it is really uncomfortable. However, it doesn't make any sense to continue to delay. Sooner or later, a choice needs to be made. So now you need to combine the current actual situation to make the right choice. The improvement of physical fitness in this traversal simulation is not particularly obvious. After all, he is apprenticed to Koshiro Shimatsuki, and he has improved more swordsmanship. Compared with the other 3 items, the cost performance is relatively low, and then there is knowledge and domineering, with the ability to penetrate the world. Exist, temporarily able to do the same thing. Looking at it this way, it seems that there is only one choice. Li Yiming's mind is very clear. Seeing the world and domineering arrogance have the same effect. Each has its own advantages and disadvantages, but when fighting, the effects it can achieve are similar. To put it simply, the transparent world is to avoid by seeing through the changes of the enemy's muscles, while the knowledge-colored domineering is to perceive the breath by listening, so as to avoid. Of course, if you cultivate the arrogance of knowledge and information to a very advanced level, you can even foresee the future for a short time and listen to the voice of all things. This is something that the transparent world cannot do. There is a great increase in the awakening of knowledge and domineering. Looking at it this way, Li Yiming is fully qualified to believe that in the subsequent simulation process, he can learn to be domineering, so this choice does not seem to be so urgent. System, I choose the 3rd reward, the sword skills obtained during the simulation. As soon as the voice fell, the white screen of the system in front of him completely disappeared. Before Li Yiming had time to react, he felt that his body had undergone earth-shaking changes. Not only could he feel the things around him more clearly, he could even feel the breath of other things. There are also a lot of memories of swordsmanship. Subconsciously, he took the novice weapon off the wall, and cut towards the basic armor on the wall with little effort. In Li Yiming's feeling, he was not hindered at all, the basic armor was cut directly, and the broken surface was very smooth, no different from cutting tofu. The breadth of all things, what a terrifying ability. Looking at the scene in front of him, Li Yiming's pupils shrank slightly, and then showed ecstasy. He knows that his choice is extremely correct. Compared with the gains brought by the other two rewards, the effect of swordsmanship is obviously greater. Now he can even use the sword to exert a destructive power comparable to or even surpassing that of magic. No matter how you look at it, it's very scary. It's just that the current physical fitness is still insufficient, and there is no way to be too presumptuous for the time being. Perhaps the next traversal simulation needs to change the way of thinking. This time, you can not learn swordsmanship, but improve your physical fitness, so that you can maximize the effect of swordsmanship at the swordsman level. As for other aspects, you can temporarily slow down your consideration. In a split second, Li Yiming made clear his next goal. The races in the world of One Piece have all reached a very perverted level, and he, who has been strengthened by his ability value, has no advantage at all. So if you want to improve your body quickly, you must find the right method. Blind training is likely to damage the foundation. Li Yiming does not have the perverted physical potential and resilience of the protagonist group. He was seriously injured on the first day, but he was able to wake up the next day, and he was able to drink like a normal person. Good guy. For this, Li Yiming can only express admiration. Among the known physical training methods, there must be supporting methods for those boxing techniques. Navy Six Form and Murloc Karate are the most classic, but it is not so easy to learn. The former probably needs to join the Navy, while the latter is very difficult. The difficulties, the Murlocs are unlikely to teach. However, if you join the Revolutionary Army, you may be able to learn. After all, the Revolutionary Army has Murlocs, and you can learn Dragon Claw Fist from the dragon. No matter what, it's feasible. Li Yiming flipped through the memories in his mind and muttered to himself softly. The benefit of the traveler is probably here. They can roughly understand the general direction of the world, and then get unexpected benefits from it based on the information difference. Even for swordsmen, physical training cannot be ignored. Since there is such a mechanism in the system, there is no need to force it too much. The world of One Piece is so big that you can't see its whole picture in a lifetime, so you can only simulate in a direction that is beneficial to you, and you may get unexpected harvest. Taking a deep breath, Li Yiming's eyes flickered with a dazzling light. There are a full 3 times of traversal simulations per day. I accidentally wasted it a few days ago. Naturally, I can't waste it later. I have to make good use of it. System, start today's second crossing simulation. As the voice fell, the system quickly responded, and the white screen popped up again. Ding, a new simulation is in progress, talents are being refreshed. Ding, congratulations to the host, you have successfully refreshed the green talent sense of direction, white talent cooking expert, purple talent reinforced iron bones. Please choose one of the following 3 as the initial talent. Green talent sense of direction, you have a strong sense of direction, no matter where you are, you can find the most correct and safe path with a very small probability. White talent cooking master, you have a strong talent in cooking. Purple talent reinforced iron bones, your muscles and bones are very strong, your nose is strong and your defense is amazing. Nice, your luck has improved a little bit. Li Yiming smashed his mouth, the corners of his mouth slightly raised. Naturally, there is no doubt about the next choice, but when his eyes fell on the first talent, his expression became weird. When I think of the green algae head of a certain road idiot, this is probably what he dreamed of. However, it has no effect on him. Perhaps the sense of direction is really useful when at sea, but it is also very limited. At that time, you only need to find a navigator and have a record pointer. It's just tasteless. Shaking his head, Li Yiming stopped thinking about it and made a choice. Ding, the talent reinforced iron bone, purple, has been selected successfully, and the time travel simulation is starting. Following Li Yiming's choice, text appeared on the white screen of the system again, and the content related to the simulation process began to jump directly. You crossed to the coast of Seymour's Hiji village again, but you became extremely calm. You stand where you are, and the residents of the village brought Koshiro Shimatsuki to the coast. You explained as usual and gained the other party's trust. Same as last time, you once again proposed to compete with Koshiro Shimatsuki, and the other party agreed. It was another fierce confrontation, but you, who have already reached the level of a swordsman, fought on par with Koshiro Shimatsuki. Even if your physical strength cannot keep up, it will take at least 1 to 2 days to decide the winner time, so you once again agreed to win by one move. You used the strongest sword, and it collided with Koshiro Shimatsuki's ultimate move. The backyard of the Yuxin dojo was almost destroyed by the terrifying slash and impact. Fortunately, at the last moment, you and Koshiro Shimatsuki chose to hold back, which saved the dojo from disaster. Although you are a little out of breath, it is still a tie in the end. You have also probably figured out Koshiro Shimatsuki's swordsmanship strength. You may have touched the bottleneck of the great swordsman, but you haven't completely set foot on it, but your strength is still not to be underestimated. If it's a life and death battle, you probably won't be your opponent, but if it's a swordsmanship match, naturally there will be no winner. Is Koshiro Shimatsuki a top swordsman? Although he is not as good as a great swordsman, his strength is already at the top level. Coupled with the two-color domineering, even if he is not as good as the general and the 4 emperors, he is definitely more than enough to be comparable to the lieutenant general. If it is a life and death battle, it's really not necessarily an opponent. Looking at the beating of the word system, Li Yiming's eyes sparkled. Not only that, but his heart is full of emotion. Ji Kuyuanyi's swordsmanship talent is really terrifying. In just a few years, he has reached the level of his own swordsman without comprehending the breadth of all things. Although this kind of thinking has appeared countless times, every time this kind of thing happens, this kind of thinking reappears uncontrollably. Sure enough, there is a gap between geniuses and mortals. Hard work is indeed important, but in some cases it's nothing compared to real talent. On the screen, the characters continued to appear. You successfully tied with Koshiro Shimatsuki, and the other party lamented your talent. It is really amazing that you have practiced swordsmanship to such an extent at such a young age. Maybe it's because of his eagerness to love talents, or because he wants to improve himself. Koshiro Shimatsuki saw that you don't have dual-color domineering, so he sincerely invites you to stay and exchange swordsmanship. He will teach you double-color domineering. You agree to this proposal. Live in Yuxin dojo. You saw Kuina again, and your heart didn't fluctuate in the slightest. Because each time-traveling simulation has no connection at all, Kuina doesn't know you, but because she witnessed the exchange between you and Koshiro Shimatsuki, she looks at you with admiration. In the days that followed, you often communicated with Koshiro Shimatsuki. After mutual verification, the speed of your swordsmanship improvement is very impressive, and at the same time, you have awakened your domineering power again. You are very aware of your physical fitness and do not have the conditions to awaken the domineering armed color, so you did not force it, but put all your energy on communicating swordsmanship. One day, Kuina proposed to take you as her teacher and wanted to learn swordsmanship from you. After Koshiro Shimatsuki agreed, you agreed to the girl's request, and taught her the breath of the sun, and at the same time, taught her the sword skills you have comprehended. Dina's talent is far beyond imagination. Under your careful training, her swordsmanship is increasing day by day, coupled with the extra strength and physical strength provided by the breathing method, she is no longer confused, and she is fully pursuing the way of swordsmanship. You are very pleased. During this period of time, you have not forgotten your daily practice, but your strength growth is not obvious. In order to obtain a more effective cultivation method, in your daily communication with Shimatsuki Koshiro, you intentionally or unintentionally mentioned your dissatisfaction with the world government and the existing system of the sea, and at the same time proposed a lot of advanced ideas, which made Shimatsuki Koshiro look. Your eyes were full of surprise, and then you showed a thoughtful expression. You know that the other party is hesitating, but you are not in a hurry, but are performing patiently. In the second year, Saran came to the Yuxin dojo, and your kendo strength has improved further. In the third year, Saran and Kuina were still exchanging swordsmanship, but because of your guidance, even though Saran was very talented, he still couldn't make Kuina feel too much pressure. Because of your preparation, Kuina changed the whetstone. Place it so that the girl falling down the stairs doesn't happen. You successfully changed the fate of Kuina's death. In the fourth year, the arrival of an uninvited guest suddenly broke your life, but you did not feel dissatisfied, but your heart was full of joy, and you finally achieved your goal. Figure. The once excellent Navy is now the leader of the Revolutionary Army, the son of a naval hero, Monkey D. Dragon. The beating of the words made Li Yiming raise his eyebrows slightly. I said, why did I stay in the same place for such a long time and didn't choose to join the Navy? Is it because of this plan? But think about it, compared with the Navy. Now, it is obvious that the management of the Revolutionary Army is more relaxed, and it does not need to look at the face of the world government. Although, because of his identity, he will be chased by the world government and Navy around the world, but as long as he is a little careful, he will not attract too much attention. It is a good idea. Choose. While thinking silently, Li Yiming probably figured out what he wanted to do in the simulated world. Did you choose the Revolutionary Army instead of the popular Navy? But there is nothing wrong with it. After all, Long used to be in the Navy, and this guy is called a man who inherited Garp's talent, so the Navy's wooden style and the way the Navy trains talents must be. It is extremely understandable. Will be a good choice. Then let's see what happens next. As long as the strength of the physical body can be improved, the choice is actually not that important. Shaking his head, Li Yiming stared at the system screen again. Under the introduction of Koshiro Shimatsuki, you got to know Ryu briefly, and the latter explained to you why he came here. It turns out that Long heard about your existence from Koshiro Shimatsuki, including the ideas you usually deliberately put forward, which made Long very excited, thinking that he had found the real truth. His confidant, that's why he traveled thousands of miles to the East Daxia Sea from other sea areas. You pretend to be surprised, but your heart is very calm. After all, this is exactly the development you planned. Dragon invited you to talk all night, and exchanged with you about overthrowing the rule of the world government and liberating all countries. The ideas you extracted from some books made him surprised, even crying in front of you because I empathize with you. He sincerely invited you to join the Revolutionary Army, and wanted to give you the position of leader of the 1.6 Revolutionary Army, but you refused, but you still joined the Revolutionary Army 1. After getting this news, Long looked very surprised, and then he was ecstatic. You were invited by Long to return to the headquarters of the Revolutionary Army. Now that the Revolutionary Army has just been established, a lot of waste is waiting to be done, so there is not much time to wander outside. You agreed. Knowing that you are about to leave, Kuina was very sad, and suggested that she want to leave Samashiki village with you and join the Revolutionary Army, and Koshiro Shimatsuki agreed. So, you took Kuina and followed Long back to the base of the Revolutionary Army. The current Revolutionary Army cannot be compared with the scale of the future, whether it is manpower, material resources, or financial resources, there is no way to compare with it, but the only good news is that the Revolutionary Army has not yet received the attention of the world government and Navy, and has more development time. At the request of the dragon, you combined the memories in your mind with the situation in the world of One Piece, and drafted a new idea about the future development of the Revolutionary Army, which was unanimously agreed by all members. Recognized, you are regarded as a thought leader, and everyone respects you very much. The time has come to the 5th year. You asked long about the methods of physical training, and the other party generously taught you the Navy body training technique, including not only basic physical training methods. This method also includes the existence of the 6th form of the Navy, and it is even combined with a medicated bath to soak the body. You expressed your thanks to the dragon, and mentioned that you need to practice, and the latter agreed to your request. In addition, the dragon also taught you his dragon claw fist. You got what you wanted, and after obtaining the consent of the dragon, you began to focus on physical cultivation. Because you had Gina by your side, you didn't feel alone. While you were cultivating silently, the Revolutionary Army also took action and liberated many small islands. The effect is very remarkable, but you are not particularly concerned about it. Chapter 95 Outrageous Way of Death, Nothing for the First Time, Monthly Ticket plus Subscription Required. In the following days, you have been in a state of cultivation, perhaps because of the blessing of the talent of steel and iron. You have a pretty good talent in physical skills, and you have improved by leaps and bounds in training. However, under the request of the dragon, you gradually became the curator of the kindergarten. In addition to Gina, there are Kurla and Sabo who lost his memory by your side. The 3 little guys gathered together and were jointly taught by you. You teach students in accordance with their aptitude, teach Kuina swordsmanship, Sabo dragon claw fist, and Kurla Navy 6 styles. Under your training, the strength of the 3 little guys has improved significantly, especially Kuina and Sabo. With the growth of age, talents are also fulfilled one by one. In the 6th year, your physical fitness has gradually caught up, and it is no longer a shortcoming. Although swordsmanship has not been practiced deliberately, but under the terrifying talent, it will naturally become stronger. Touched the bottleneck of the great swordsman. You have successfully awakened the armed domineering, and the experience has gone a step further. In the 7th year, you feel that the efficiency of physical exercise has become lower, and the cultivation of armed domineering and knowledge-colored domineering has almost come to a standstill. You know that you can't continue to work behind closed doors. So he took the initiative to meet Long and proposed to leave the headquarters of the Revolutionary Army and go to the outside world for a walk. Long agreed to your proposal, and asked you to find some good seedlings. You agreed. Take the record pointer. You left the headquarters of the Revolutionary Army alone, and wandered freely on the sea. Because you are extremely powerful, and you have also learned 2-color domineering, ordinary people are no match for you at all. You killed all the pirates you met on the way, and you went to the Navy branch to exchange for the bounty. The bad weather in the first half of the Great Route did not hinder you, and you arrived at the Chambord Islands very well. While you were wandering around, you saw the darkness of the Chambord Islands. What you saw and heard in the lawless zone made you frown subconsciously. You, who originally only regarded yourself as a passerby, now feel different. You gradually understand. Dragon thoughts. At this moment, everyone around you fell to their knees, and you met the Tianlong. The arrogant and domineering attitude of the Tianlong people caused your dissatisfaction, but you did not cause trouble, but chose to turn around and leave. But you were the only one who did not kneel down at the scene, which was too obvious, and the Tianlong people looked at you with a look of embarrassment. You raise your pistol and pull the trigger. You dodged the bullet because of your strength, which aroused the dissatisfaction of the Tianlong people even more, and ordered your subordinates to kill you. You couldn't bear it anymore. You pulled out your sword brazenly and killed the guards around the 19 Tianlong people, but the other party didn't feel scared, but threatened you to kneel down. You couldn't bear it anymore, and shot the Tianlong people to death. This behavior instantly caused an uproar. The world government started to want you, and the newly promoted general of the Navy headquarters, the Yellow Ape, that is, Polisalino, began to hunt and kill you. Your strength is still a long way from the general, so you did not stay to meet the enemy, but hid yourself escape. 2 months later, on your way back to the headquarters of the Revolutionary Army, you encountered a Yellow Ape who had been chasing you. The latter recognized you, and you had no choice but to fight with him. 1. Your strength was amazed by Huang Yuan, but then it also attracted the attention of the other party. Even if you are used to clocking in at work, the order of the world government, Huang Yuan, still cannot be disobeyed. With all your efforts, you are gradually losing. You fought with the Yellow Ape for 5 days and 5 nights, and finally died tragically in the hands of the Yellow Ape Polisalino. You are dead, this simulation is over, evaluation is being generated. Ah, it's really hard to die at the hands of the shining man who ate the obscene fruit. Who knew that he would meet the Tianlong-Gren in the Chambord Islands and be targeted by the other party? It's really troublesome. Li Yiming looked at the white system screen and couldn't help scratching his hair. This time, he was tired enough. He had been practicing hard at the headquarters of the Revolutionary Army, and he came out almost after he was successful in cultivation. Who knew that he would encounter such a thing if he wanted to go further through the battle? Are the celestial dragons? What a bunch of moths! Sure enough, at the beginning, I might hold on to it, but later on, the system will not make me so easy, and any outrageous things may happen, which is really quite helpless. Even if he awakens the two-color domineering spirit and becomes a top swordsman, there is still a big gap between him and the admiral. But forget it, the harvest this time is not bad, at least I have cultivated for more than 7 years, and I have successfully solved the most wanted physical body cultivation. I am already very satisfied. Li Yiming exhaled lightly, muttered in his mouth, and changed his mood a little. If there is a body technique in the reward option, his strength will undergo an earth-shaking change, and no one will know how strong he will become by then. But at least, Gloria is definitely not his opponent. This kind of strength is placed in the world of is it wrong to seek encounters in dungeons, at least it is at the level of first-level adventurers. As for whether there will be differences, we will need to compare them to know. Such a big change in such a short period of time is really unacceptable. If you let other adventurers know about your changes, you will definitely be envious and jealous. Ding, this simulation is over, your final evaluation is B+, you can choose one of the following rewards. Purple Talent Reinforced Iron Bones, Physical Skills and Physical Strength, obtained during the simulation, Sword Skills obtained during the simulation, Knowledge and Domineering. Point 1. Do you still need to think about it? It must be. Li Yiming looked at the reward and made a choice without hesitation. Although the purple talent is very powerful, the cultivation of the simulated physical body can be improved to this level, which is very likely due to the credit of this talent, but this loyalty is the basis for changing the wrist. What is needed now is not the basis for becoming stronger, at least the purple talent is still a little too weak. System, choose reward. As Li Yiming's voice fell, he felt that there was an extra stream of information in his mind, about the 6th form of the Navy, Dragon Claw Fist, and physical fitness. To put it simply, he now truly possesses great strength. According to the comparison, the Vice Admiral has at least some strength, but it is not clear what level of adventurer it is equivalent to. After all, Olalai's combat power system is relatively confusing. Human beings whose abilities have been strengthened will only feel numbness in their feet when falling from a height of several meters, and will not suffer obvious damage. Therefore, Li Yiming's current body is equivalent to what level of adventurer, he himself does not know, but definitely not too weak. The enhancement obtained by a good simulation world is really terrible. It is a little smoother, but I can get such a big improvement. I don't want to enter the dungeon to explore now. As long as I use all the simulation times every day, then just lie down and win with peace of mind. This feeling of rapidly becoming stronger is really unstoppable. However, these words can only be said on the lips, and Yiming will naturally not really give up exploring the dungeon. After all, if the strength is increased and not used, then there is no need to be an adventurer at all, not to mention that it is still very interesting to enter the dungeon with other people occasionally. Only with enough strength can we protect ourselves and the people we want to protect. There is one last chance left today, so let's go after the victory. It is naturally better to be able to enhance one's own strength earlier, as more and more people from other worlds come to Orario. There is no way to hide the ability to travel through other worlds for a long time. So before that, you must have enough strength. System, I want to continue the simulation. As Li Yiming's order fell, the system's voice sounded again. Ding, start a new simulation, talent refresh. Ding, congratulations to the host for refreshing the white talent facial paralysis, white talent regarding money like life, and green talent peach blossoms. Looking at the talents that have been brushed out this round, Li Yiming has no strength to complain. He really has a bad face and doesn't have a useful talent at all. It's really a scam. But thinking about it, it doesn't seem to be a big deal. At least the first 2 rounds of simulations were pretty good, which allowed him to gain decent strength, enough to protect himself in the world of One Piece. If this is the case, it doesn't seem to be that important to refresh some relatively poor talents. Li Yiming probably can only comfort himself in his heart like this. White talent facial paralysis, your expression is always indifferent, and others cannot see your true inner thoughts from your facial expression. White talent regard money as life, you regard money as more important than your own life. Green talent peach blossoms, you have a very good relationship with the opposite S**X, and you will never lack beautiful women by your side. Li Yiming looked at the introduction of the 3 talents, and sighed helplessly. He could only choose the 3rd talent, at least it was the only talent that was barely useful, and it was a green talent. This can be regarded as taller than dwarf. Ding, choose success, start. You appeared in Samo's Hiji village. As the simulation started, Li Yiming's interest decreased slightly. The experience of the 3rd time through the simulation was not much different from the previous 2 times. He competed with Koshiro Shimatsuki in swordsmanship, and then learned the 2-color arrogance from the other party. You followed the caravan to the sea, solved the pirate group encountered along the way, and successfully requisitioned their pirate ship. Sword skills and physical fitness have encountered bottlenecks for a short time. You, who are not stubborn, plan to improve your strength from another direction. You want to find a powerful devil fruit. According to your memory, you know that the Thunderbolt fruit still exists in the current time period, so you searched for a way to go to Sky Island. During this period, you met many young and beautiful women who wanted to follow you, but you refused them all. You think women only affect the speed at which you draw your sword. For it. Is self-awareness so high in the simulated world? In order to become stronger, even the beauty is not close, and the selected talent will not affect his choice at all, which is really unexpected. Sure enough, the real me is such a determined person. Touching his chin quite proudly, a faint smile appeared on Li Yiming's face. However, it was at this time that the plot began to change. After some searching, you successfully found a way to Sky Island. Following the sea current soaring into the sky, you successfully left the sea level and rushed towards the empty island. Everything seemed so smooth. However, an accident happened in mid-air. The pirate ship that you strengthened encountered a terrifying storm in the air. The pirate ship couldn't bear the terrible impact and disintegrated in mid-air. You barely survived in the air with your moon steps. Misfortunes never come singly. The terrifying wind, waves, and ocean currents form a huge sea tornado, which cannot be shaken even with all your slashing. In the end, you are sucked into the center by the sea tornado, until take it to the depths of the sea. You are dead. I'll take you to fight. The sudden end made Li Yiming curse directly. Obviously it was such a wise decision to go to the empty island to look for the thunder fruit, but the pirate ship suddenly disintegrated while riding the soaring current. Forget it, but in the end, he encountered a storm and was drowned just like that. I can't accept this bizarre way of death. Why is that boy Wang Luffy okay? If I want to go to Sky Island, I will encounter such a thing. The protagonist's halo is unreasonable. Right. Loud rants resounded in the room, and Li Yiming was a little annoyed. But things have come to this point, and he has no ability to change the simulation process of the system. Not only that, because the survival time is too short, and he didn't do anything, the final evaluation is only at the level of E, and there is no way to get any rewards. This is undoubtedly more difficult to accept. I might as well not start the simulation. It's better to waste it than to simulate, at least it won't make me angry. Taking a deep breath, he barely suppressed his inner dissatisfaction. Li Yiming rubbed his cheeks, and his tired spirit completely recovered. To put it simply, all the anger is gone. Forget it, today's harvest is already big enough, there is no need to be insatiable. It seems that if you want to get the thunderous fruit, you need to plan well. This simulation can be regarded as a warning. With the traversal simulation system, although you can become stronger in a short period of time, it is not as simple as imagined, and you still need to make a detailed plan to be able to do so. I can't sleep anyway, so it's better not to sleep. Didn't Goddess Faith say she wanted to celebrate? It's obviously not worthwhile to eat outside, so it's better to cook it yourself. I just don't know if there are enough ingredients in the family. Thinking that he released the pigeon of his own red-haired goddess before, Li Yiming decided to make up for it by himself. What could be more heartfelt than cooking a delicious meal yourself? Just do it. Li Yiming immediately got up from the bed, hung the novice long knife provided by the family on the wall, opened the door, and walked towards the kitchen with swift steps. Along the way, he didn't meet anyone, and the members of the family were really busy enough. However, maybe after a while, I might be able to meet other people. After arriving at the kitchen, Li Yiming looked through the spare ingredients in detail. Not only are the types very diverse, but the quantity is also extremely complete. From the appearance, all kinds of ingredients are quite fresh. If there is no accident, there should be a dedicated member responsible for the procurement of ingredients. That being the case, then there is no need to deliberately buy, the time is still too early, there is no need to prepare dinner so early, just wait for a while. With nothing else to do, Li Yiming left the kitchen and walked towards my room in the delivery room. Regarding the situation of ghost killing to other people, we still need to have a good chat with the master. Boom boom boom. After knocking on the door, there was a faint sound of footsteps inside. Crack. The door of the room was pulled open from the inside, and Yoyama Yayashiki's figure came into view immediately. The moment the other party saw Li Yiming, a gentle smile appeared on his face. Mr. Yiming, welcome to come, what can you do to come to me at this time? Ah, Yaze, I'm here to see you. By the way, I'll talk to you about bringing other members of the Ghost Slayer squad to Orario. By the way, the Hestia Familia's future. Li Yiming looked at Yoyayashiki, who was basking in the spring breeze in front of him, and bluntly explained his reason for coming. So that's the case, please come in and say it. Yubayashiki Yoya nodded knowingly, and then opened the door to invite Li Yiming to enter. However, the latter had no intention of going in, but shook his head slightly, and continued to say, we'd better go to God Hestia's room together, and have a good time with her. Discuss, after all, there is no way to bypass her as the main god about the Hestia family. And if you want to let other members of the ghost killing squad join the Hestia Familia, you also need her consent, don't you? What Yiming Jun said is true, then please go to Lord Shangshen with me. Chapter 96. Take the two goddesses to a different world. Subscribe. Boom boom boom. God Hestia, are you in the room? There was a sound of hurried footsteps, and Li Yiming could even imagine in his mind Hestia's bare feet stepping on the ground, trotting all the way to open the door. The door was quickly opened, and the figure of goddess lowly leaned out. The difference in height made the ribbon on her head with a small silver clock stand out. A pair of blue and transparent big eyes sparkled, and she was so breathtakingly beautiful. An atmosphere of infinite reverie is brewing. It has to be said that Ye has perfected all the aesthetic points of Li Yiming. It's hard not to like this kind of beautiful Lolita with a beautiful figure. Is it Yiming-kun? What do you want from me? After opening the door, Hestia looked at Li Yiming curiously, her cheeks turned slightly red at a speed visible to the naked eye, but she regained her composure when she saw Yoya Yashiki. If it weren't for Li Yiming's excellent eyesight, perhaps he would not be able to capture such subtle changes at all. Take the liberty to bother you, God Hestia. Yaya and I came here to discuss something with you, about Yaya's world and the situation of the Demon Slayer squad. Li Yiming stated his purpose bluntly. Hestia frowned slightly, and even the twin ponytails on her head began to dance slightly. Is this the thing? Then come in first. Excuse me, Lord Kamishami. Obstetrician Yoshiki bowed slightly before entering the room. This is the first time Li Yiming has come to Hestia's room. The imaginary girl's heart has been slightly decorated, which is completely different from the room of goddess Hestia. However, probably due to insufficient funds, the various decorations are not particularly gorgeous. Yeazejun, Yiming-jun, sit down casually. Greeting the two to sit down, Hestia poured 3 cups of tea without any airs, which flattered Yoshiki, but Li Yiming looked calm. He said that this is very normal. The gods in the Earth Vault world are basically like this. Most of the gods will not show any airs to humans, and most of the time they do not have the sense of majesty that gods should have. As long as they like you enough, you won't have any problems even if you beat him up. It can be said to be quite easy to talk about. Of course, if a human offends them, the situation is quite different. For those who offend the gods, even if the gods will not do it themselves, the members of their families will choose not to die, even if they launch a family war. This is probably the death of another type of humiliating official. Then, Yiming-kun, what did you say about Yaeze-kun's ghost-killing team? It's like this, God Hestia. Li Yiming took a sip of tea, and then put down the cup. You are well aware of the physical problems of Yaeze and Mr. Zayaman. The materials needed to make magic potions are very precious, at least it can only be found in more than 30 floors, and it is not enough to rely on a few people alone. Just tonight, Master Shang Shen and I are planning to go to another world. The ghost-killing team still has many excellent talents, who are very suitable for income families. So I want to ask you if you want to go together. After all, you also know that our faith family is a craftsman family, and we don't advocate recruiting adventurers of the exploration type. Li Yiming wasn't lying. No matter how good the fighters are, her faith is still more interested in blacksmithing, and she hopes that her children can create equipment that will make her eyes shine. The last time I was willing to accept Butterfly Chanahui and others, it was because of Li Yiming's recommendation. Among all the members of the ghost-killing squad, probably only those swordsmiths in the village of swordsmiths would be interested in Goddess Hetos, and the others would probably not be accepted. That being the case, it might as well let Hestia accept them. Go to another world? Yiming-kun, can you still take me and Faith Hetos to another world? This is too powerful. I will go, and I will accept the children of the ghost-killing squad. Hearing Li Yiming's words, Hestia suddenly became very excited, and rushed forward to grab Li Yiming's hand. Her eyes were full of joy. There is nothing more exciting than going to another world and being able to expand your family. No problem, let's go together after dinner, but before that, there are still some things that need to be discussed. It is about obtaining the materials that Yaze and the others need. In addition to the dungeon drops, perhaps they can also be obtained through go to the market and buy small ones. In addition, perhaps the purchase of the initial residence of the Hestia family can also be obtained from that world. But we don't have initial capital. Hestia was a little moved, but when she thought that she was just a poor god, there was nothing she could do about it. Don't worry about this. Lord Shangshen, the Ghost Slayer squad still has some assets. Although a lot of them have been distributed, there is no problem with buying general level resident. However, if you want to buy high-end materials, then it's a little weak. Yubayashiki Yoya still had a gentle expression on his face, and told the basic situation in a concise manner. The ghost-killing squad was partially disbanded, and as the leader, he also distributed a sum of money to all members who wanted to leave. Although it was not too much, at least he would have enough food and drink for the rest of his life. In fact, only he himself knows how huge the Yubayashiki family's property is. Mr. Yaze, are you actually so rich? Hearing this, Hestia's expression was slightly surprised, her eyes lit up again, and at the same time she was very moved, but soon felt a little embarrassed. Although I really want to have my own family and residence, wouldn't it be too good to let Yaze-kun and other children bear the burden? My main god is really useless at all. No, Lord Shangshen, you are worrying too much, this is what we should do. Seeing that Hestia was still hesitant, Li Yiming persuaded him at the right time, God Hestia, in fact, you don't need to have a psychological burden. The gods have given us the favor of God, and we should serve you. After all, the family is not yours. A person's family is also the family of us people from the lower world, isn't it? After saying these words, the confusion on Hestia's face disappeared instantly. Undoubtedly, Li Yiming's persuasion went to the heart of this lowly goddess. Isn't the purpose of her establishing a family to find the child she likes, and then become a family, and finally everyone will live happily together? I understand, I will trouble you, Yaze-kun. Hestia's expression was full of complexities, and she looked at Li Yiming with an inexplicable meaning. Mr. Yiming, if you are not the child of Hefate Tas, I really want to fight for you desperately, you are simply the most perfect candidate for the team leader in my mind. That would be such a pity, but it's all right now, isn't it? Although Li Yiming is not a member of the Hestia family, he has never regretted his choice. Before the traversal simulation system appeared, it was naturally the best choice to join the Hestia family. When he was at his worst, Goddess Hetos chose him, so it is naturally impossible to choose to betray him now. This is probably the most sincere emotion. Then I will ask Mr. Yiming to take me to another world tonight. I can't wait to see other family members. Hestia's eyes shone with anticipation. She is a group of gods who came to the lower realm very late, so after coming to Olele, the family members of this labyrinth city are almost saturated, and adventurers are not willing to become the family members of a god who has nothing like her. Once Hestia was very disappointed, and even became decadent. However, what she wants has always been family members, kind-hearted children who are willing to live with her. As long as they are willing to join the family members, it doesn't matter whether they are adventurers or not, and whether they are willing to enter the dungeon relation. If the children are willing to enter the dungeon, Hestia will silently bless them and pray for their safe return. If the children are unwilling to enter the dungeon, she will not force it. At worst, they live together in a slightly worse environment, and it doesn't matter if they rely on part-time jobs to survive. This is probably the charm of Hestia. Leave it to me, whether it's for the Hefate family, for the Hestia family, or for myself, I will do it that way. But before that, it's rare for everyone to come back from the dungeon today. Why don't you celebrate it and make up for what happened last time? I'll cook the food myself, and start working after dinner. Do you want to have a banquet? Then I will help too. Hestia took the initiative to say the sentence, which made Li Yiming look surprised. Don't show that expression, anyway, I'm also a kitchen god, and my cooking skills are pretty good. Sensing Li Yiming's suspicion, Hestia immediately showed a dissatisfied expression, and said a little angrily, "Humph, I'm going to let you cook tonight. Let's see the cooking skills of the gods, and then don't swallow your tongue." Okay, then I'm looking forward to your cooking, God Hestia. Nodding suspiciously, Li Yiming's heart is indeed full of expectation. Although Hestia doesn't seem to have shown her cooking skills in the original book except for fried potato balls, but as she said, she is also the goddess who manages the stove, so her cooking skills should not be bad. Of course, if there is any accident in the middle, it will not be unexpected. After all, in the final analysis, Hestia is really a good-for-nothing goddess. After the discussion, Li Yiming and Hestia came to the kitchen to prepare for the evening banquet. It seemed that she really wanted to show her talents and change everyone's perception of her. Hestia seemed very motivated throughout the whole process, and the results she obtained did not live up to her expectations. It is no exaggeration to say that just one or two side dishes, the taste also surprised Li Yiming. He also changed his mind about Hestia a little bit. At least, this lowly goddess is not as useless as she imagined. This cooking skill is superior to her own, and all the dishes she has tasted are second to none. Humph, now you know how powerful I am. Observing the faint surprise and love on Li Yiming's face, Hestia suddenly showed a smug smile. It's amazing, God Hestia, I admit that I had a bad attitude before, your cooking skills are the best I have ever seen. You may be able to open a restaurant, when the time comes, the abundant hostess will be nothing not your competitor. Of course. After being praised, Hestia's twin ponytails almost went up to the sky. However, I don't want to impose my expertise on the children of the family. How to make a profit depends on their own ideas. No matter what I do, I will support it to the end. That's right, God Hestia, you are really a considerate god. Of course, after all, I treat all the children as family members, so Mr. Yiming, if you want to consider changing your religion, I will treat you well. Forget it, I still like the Hefate family, not to mention, if I really choose to change my religion, no matter if it is me or God Hestia, you will definitely be killed by the Lord God. Drop it. After Li Yiming's reminder, Hestia really shrank her neck. Goddess Loli seemed to have thought of bad memories of the gods in her mind, and immediately nodded with lingering fear. In that case, let's forget it. However, God Hestia or something sounds too foreign. You have helped me so much and brought me so many excellent children. I am very grateful to you. From now on, I will call me Hestia. Come on Stia, this is a license from the gods, please give me thanks. Li Yiming almost couldn't hold back his laughter when he heard the proud words of a child. Fortunately, in the end he held back as much as possible. Hai Yi, I will cherish this honor, please teach me more in the future, Hestia. Humph, then continue to get along well. Happy times are always short. Being alone with Hestia made Li Yiming feel a joy that he hadn't felt for a long time, just like meeting a girl he liked when he was in school in his previous life. That kind of heartbeat is probably the beauty of the first love. The sun slowly set from the west, and the whole of Orario fell into the noise of the night again. Li Yiming called everyone in the family, including members of the Hestia family, and the two goddesses sat on the left and right sides of the head seat, and below them were all adventurers from the two families. He didn't reveal the reason for the banquet, but everyone ate very happily. After a long meal and a short rest, everyone began to clean up the mess together. Everyone was satisfied with the cooking tonight, especially the logistics staff of the Faith family. When she was in the hands of Tia, she also had a great change in her view of this goddess who was lingering. If you can taste this level of delicacies occasionally in the future, it seems that it would be good for the other party to stay here. Poor goddess Het Faith, she doesn't know that her child has been bought by Emil. After the banquet, Li Yiming appeared in his room, of Zhao Zhao. Besides him, the goddess Hestia and the goddess Hefaith were also here, and there were many members behind the two goddesses. After coming to Oleli for a few days, they also wanted to go back and see familiar people. For this, it was easy to get permission. But the only downside is probably that the room in Li Yiming, which is not particularly spacious, becomes very crowded, and there is no place to stay at all. No, Li Yiming was squeezed so close to the two goddesses. Sniffing the body fragrance that was close at hand, this made the old virgin of 2 generations feel distracted for a while, but after seeing the meaningful smile of Goddess Faith, he immediately coughed twice in embarrassment. Ahem, what, I'm going to open the door to the world, let's go. As he said that, Li Yiming activated the key of the gate of the world of Ghost Slayer, Blade World, and the familiar portal reappeared. The golden light almost made people unable to open their eyes. Even the two goddesses showed surprise expressions. There is really no way to see through the power contained in it. Not only that, an idea appeared in their hearts, even if they unsealed their divine power, they probably would not be able to figure out the power contained in the magical world gate in front of them. This is beyond their ability. This little guy is really quite mysterious. Having the same thought in their hearts, he Faith and Hestia looked at each other, and they both understood the meaning in the other's expression, but they didn't say it out of their mouths. There are some mysteries, and it will be more fascinating to slowly uncover them. My lord, Hestia, you can reach another world through this door, let's go. The two goddesses nodded and followed Li Yiming into the gate of the world. The others followed suit and disappeared into the portal one after another. Until the last person disappears, the door to the world closes slowly, finally disappears into the room. The visions that appeared during this period did not cause any reaction, and the gods of Orario did not notice the abnormality of the Faith family. Chapter 97 The human race has infinite possibilities. Subscribe. The golden portal opened, and several figures walked out one after another. Passing through the door, the environment changed instantly, and it was almost the same as when we left last time. It was still in the mansion of the Yabayashiki family, the former headquarters of the Demon Slayer squad. Now, because of Anime Tsuji's complete death, the evil spirits under his command have also been wiped out, and the existence of the Demon Slayer squad is no longer needed. In comparison, the number of people has dropped sharply. The number of members who are still here today is less than half of what it used to be. However, the half disbandment of the ghost killing team is not a bad thing. At least the Hestia family can't absorb so many people. After all, the number of the family can be hundreds, but it needs good financial support. Is this a different world? It's completely different from Orario. Just after walking out of the gate of the world, Hestia looked at the surrounding environment curiously. The architectural style is completely different from Oleli, whether it is Hestia or Hefaith. I have seen it in the relevant materials that record the land of the Far East, but I have never seen the real thing with my own eyes. But it really appeared before my eyes. The existence of another world, it seems that it is not as far behind as imagined. Hefaith, who was on the side, also turned her eyes, looking around, looking for something that interested her. And Tsubaki, who is going to follow anyway, is enduring the throbbing in her heart at this time. She is a special material in the world of Demon Slayer, Blade, that is, the material for making round knives. It is a material that absorbs sunlight, Gorilla Crimson Sand Iron and Gorilla Crimson Ore. In addition to the hard texture, it can also present different colors according to the different attributes of the user's body. As for whether there are other effects, it is not very clear. Tsubaki originally planned to go looking for it directly, but at any rate, she couldn't be too rude in front of Goddess Hidos. Welcome to this world, Lord God Faith, please follow me. Back at home, Yuya looked respectful, and solemnly invited the two goddesses to walk towards the inner courtyard of the mansion. It seemed that he wanted to entertain them warmly. Before he could respond, several bursts of wind rang out. "My lord." When he came back to his senses, several figures had already appeared in front of everyone. The leader Yanzu Morning Ming, Fengzu Immortal Kawa Minami, the future Yanzu Purgatory Scene Xiaolang, and several people who have never seen before appeared in the courtyard one after another. When seeing Yuyashiki and the others, there was a look of joy on his face. "Children, don't be disrespectful." Yuyashiki stopped everyone's actions with a serious face, and then quickly continued, "These two are Lord Hestia and Lord Hestia. It is also my god. We have joined the 993 Hestia family." After the voice fell, the others looked in that direction subconsciously. Next moment, with a plop, several people fell to their knees in an instant. In addition to the people who came back with them, even Yanzubai Minjio Seeing Ming also knelt on the ground, facing the direction of Hestia and He Faith, his face full of reverence and devotion. The reason why they fell to their knees so neatly was because of the existence of He Faith and Hestia. This is God. God is not just an identity, but also a symbol. Just like when people see a tree, they know it is a tree, and when they see a bird, they know it is a bird. As long as people have a little common sense, it is impossible to recognize a tree as a bird. So when they saw the two goddesses, they knew they were gods. There is no reason, just like when Li Yiming first met the goddess of faith, they have a kind of temperament that ordinary people do not have, and that is the most obvious status symbol. In front of the two goddesses, there is no thought of offending at all. God's grace is like the sea, God's power is like prison. These are probably the words that ordinary people can think of when facing the gods. At this moment, even Li Yiming feels great pressure. Sure enough, these two goddesses have unlocked the seal of divine power. The gods in the lower realm have sealed their own divine power, but this seal is not imposed by others, but a self-seal. If they are in danger, they can unseal the seal at any time. It's just that if you use divine power in Orario, you will be discovered and sent back to the heavens. However, there are exceptions. For example, during the war game, in order to facilitate the gods to better watch the specific details of the war game, after obtaining the consent of Uranus, use a power called Magic Mirror to have clairvoyance. The ability is also the only privilege recognized by almost gods in the lower realm. However, now that the two goddesses have completely unsealed their divine power, it will often be even more terrifying. Are you the ones Mr. Yiming mentioned? You really are a good group of kids. Hestia looked at all the people lying on the ground with her beautiful eyes, and then said softly, "Get up, there is no need to be so serious, just treat us as ordinary people." Hearing these words, Biming Seeing Ming and the others subconsciously glanced at Yuyashiki, who also nodded slightly in agreement. Everything must be obeyed by the Lord God. Yes, Lord God, we know. After answering, everyone stood up subconsciously, but their attitudes were still very respectful and reserved, and they didn't dare to act as Hestia said. After all, what they are facing now is a real God. I'm really sorry, Lord God Faith, these children made you laugh. No, I like these children very much. I can feel that they respect me and Faith, and also respect you from the bottom of my heart. I like it very much. They will be their own children soon, and Hestia will naturally not have any objections. After recovering her divine power, she can naturally see the potential of everyone in front of her, which makes the goddess Lori, who has never seen the world, almost drooling. With so many high-quality talents, her Hestia family will definitely be able to become one of the top families of Orario in the shortest possible time, and then she won't be afraid that Loki will mock her. Thinking of this, Hestia felt a rush of fighting spirit. Hey, Hestia, hold back a little bit, it's really embarrassing. He has been friends with Hestia for many years, and he Faith could tell what this guy was thinking just by looking at him, and the red-haired goddess immediately rolled her eyes angrily. But forget it, this guy has been suppressed by Loki for so long, and finally has some hope, let her be happy for a while. Anyway, two naive guys can't really fight each other. Hestia, I will take Chun and Yiming to other parts of the world first, and I will leave this place to you. There are so many outstanding children, it is really cheap for you. Humph, of course. Having said that, Hestia is obviously very proud. Not wanting to see Hestia's smug face again, Goddess Faith directly greeted Li Yiming and Tsubaki and left the maternity house. Knowing that Yuya Yabayashiki would not neglect Hestia, Li Yiming followed and left directly. Yiming, where is the knowledge of this world usually stored? On the way, he Faith regained his composure and did not forget the business of coming here. If you want to understand a civilization, the fastest way is to understand its history. Although there may be some discrepancies in history, the general direction is not wrong. Faith wanted to see how this world was different from O'Leary's, and maybe she could find some refreshing fun in it. Then let me introduce the basic situation of this world to you, Lord Shangshen. Although this is not my own world, there are similarities in the development, so there is no problem at all with Li Yiming acting as a tour guide without a person from Numenor to guide the way. Master Shangshen, this is a world without gods, but the miraculous thing is that there is a soul. I don't know where people go after death, but apart from the ghost-killing team, absolutely most of them are ordinary people, scattered all over the planet, and established one country after another. Humanity has established quite brilliant civilizations one after another by virtue of their own efforts. To put it bluntly, although the Maze City Orario is prosperous, these prosperous cities in the ordinary world are not bad at all, and in some respects, it's even more advanced. Oh! Goddess Faith raised her brows lightly, and her eyes became brighter. Is there any more prosperous city in Kangran than Olalai? Then I want to see the sun. Faith did not taste the taste of lying from Li Yiming, her Faith became more interested in the other world. Even Tsubaki on the side showed an expression of interest at this time. Judge. Now that she has come to this world, she is not in a hurry to find special materials. Now she also wants to know a little bit about other things, such as whether there will be advanced forging technology or not. Well, no matter how interested they are, Li Yiming's family, a dwarf master, will not get rid of the forging. I will prove this point, but before that, Lord Shangshen, you can first learn about relevant information and history in the library of this country under your feet. People in this world like to organize and collect knowledge in a centralized manner, and then put it in a large building. It is provided for ordinary people to watch. If I think about it, Lord Shangshen and the head of the group will probably be interested in it. As Li Yiming's words progressed layer by layer, the eyes of Goddess Faith and Chun lit up again. Everyone can't wait anymore. Where is that place? If you rely on walking, it will take a few days, so if possible, please trouble Lord Shangshen to use your divine power to take me and the leader to fly there together. Of course there is no problem. Her Faith nodded, not thinking of refusing. In fact, after so many years in the lower realm, this is the first time Faith regained her divine power, and she couldn't wait to release the long-lost sense of fullness. Even if you can't use too much power, it's still no problem to fly. Yiming, show the way. I'll take you and Chun with me. After the words fell, Goddess Faith raised her hand slightly, and Li Yiming suddenly felt an invisible force surrounding him. The vastness of that force made him startled. Before he could respond, the red-haired goddess beside her frowned, her expression full of weirdness. Hey, something has changed. This physical strength is already terrifying. Could it be that the harvest from entering the dungeon last time was so huge? Could it be that you were hammered to the ground by Gloria? Not good. The sight of Goddess Faith suddenly hit. Li Yiming's expression froze slightly. He seemed to have forgotten about this matter, the goddess who has recovered her divine power, probably has no secrets at all except her thoughts and the simulation system. The strength of the physical body obtained from the traversing simulation just now was discovered in an instant. Li Yiming was a little bit at a loss, and didn't know how to explain it at all. He couldn't lie in front of the gods. Without revealing the system, he couldn't find a reasonable reason at all. For a moment, he fell silent. This scene fell into the eyes of Goddess He Faith and Tsubaki. The eyes of each person and the god were full of deep meaning, and they probably understood that the little guy in front of him had his own little secret. If it's inconvenient to say it, that's fine, as long as you are still my child. In the end, Goddess Faith did not choose to continue to embarrass Li Yiming, and slowly withdrew her gaze, which made the latter involuntarily heave a sigh of relief. Thank you for your understanding, Lord Shangshen. Don't be too happy. Although you don't tell me now, sooner or later, I will let you willingly tell your secret. Now, I will treat you as a mystery. The red-haired goddess reached out and tapped Li Yiming's head, with a slight smile on her face. Let's show the way first. I want to learn about this world, maybe there is something that makes me happy. Okay, that's the direction. Li Yiming stretched out his finger and pointed in the direction of Tokyo. The divine power in Goddess Faith's body circulated, and the whole person floated out of thin air. At the same time, Li Yiming and Chun. The three of them flew up towards the sky, one in front and two behind, until they reached an altitude of hundreds of meters. Looking down from the high altitude, this modern civilized city was completely displayed in the sight of the two and one god. It is also nighttime in the world of Demon Slayer, Blade World, so when you look down, you can see a brightly lit town that surrounds the headquarters of the Demon Slayer squad in the center. Looking into the distance, the slightly raised buildings are equally conspicuous. Even Faith, who is used to seeing big scenes, couldn't help but feel a little lost when she first came into contact with a city that was completely different from O'Leary. The thousands of lights at night are too beautiful. It's just like what you said. The cities in this world are so beautiful, but in my opinion, they are still not as good as O'Leary. At least there are no buildings here that people can't forget at first sight. This is true, but there are many places of interest in the world, and there is probably no way to visit them all today, so let's go to the relatively large cities in this country first. Li Yiming did not refute her Faith's views, but also gave her own suggestions. For this, Goddess Faith Hitos naturally would not refuse, and readily agreed, and at the same time took the two of them to fly in the direction he pointed before. Boom! The two of them disappeared in an instant, and then there was a muffled sound of bumping around, and a circle of white smoke billowed up. The speed is terrifying to the limit. It is very easy to break through the sound barrier and fly directly beyond the speed of sound, but Li Yiming can clearly see that the expression of his goddess is understated, obviously not exerting all his strength. Sure enough, the gods who have lived for hundreds of millions of years are beyond the reach of ordinary people in terms of knowledge and strength. In just a few minutes, we successfully arrived at our destination, which is Asakusa, Tokyo. Here we are, Lord Shangshen. This is probably the bustling city with neon lights. Ah, I've seen it. The two of them hovered over the city together, looking down from a high position. The bright lights reflected each other, making the whole night very beautiful. The buildings in Tokyo are not too tall, but they look very beautiful overall. Now in the Taisho period, the neon lights in this time period are also ranked among the top 10 countries in the world, so it is very reasonable to have such a grand event. The face of Goddess He Faith showed amazement. It is hard to imagine that this is a world without gods. Human beings have decorated the city so beautifully with their own hands, and it seems that there is more than one such city. It is really incredible. Perhaps this is also the reason why their gods are willing to seal their divine power and come to the lower realm. Humans are the race with infinite possibilities. Chapter 98, How can money be considered stealing? Looking for a new family resident, monthly ticket plus more flowers. After a brief absence, the two landed on the ground together. In today's era, there is no such thing as a camera, so there is no need to worry about being discovered by others, which will cause unnecessary trouble. Entering the bustling street, everything around is so novel. Li Yiming also came to this place for the first time, so he didn't know where the library was at all. It was only after asking other people around that he found the target location. The largest library in all of Tokyo. That's right here, Zhengshen Tianping. Standing at the door of the library with Goddess He Faith, Li Yiming spoke softly. Unfortunately, at this point in time, the library was about to close, and no one else was allowed to enter it, which made him a little embarrassed. It's not easy. After Goddess He Faith chuckled lightly, she activated her divine power again. The figures of several people were instantly enveloped by divine power, and then the whole people became transparent, and completely lost their traces, but they could still see each other. Surprisingly, others act as if they don't exist. This is a very simple concealment magic. In addition to being invisible, it can also hide breath and sound. No one will find us, so no one will stop us when we go in. Speaking of this, Goddess He Faith even tilted her head, skillfully showing her cuteness. That's true, let's go in then. It seems that if you don't go in today, you won't let it go, so let's go in. Anyway, isn't this the purpose of Li Yiming bringing Goddess Faith to another world? Falling into a hidden state, there is no one to stop it at all. All the way into the library unimpeded, there was almost no one there at this time, only the cleaning staff were still working hard, and soon even the staff left one after another. The venue, which was bright before, instantly became dark. The way of lighting in this world is really interesting. It doesn't seem to be magic stone lamps. While using magic to light up the surrounding area, he looked at Li Yiming who was beside him, and the latter nodded immediately. That's right, except for the dead ghosts and the surviving ghost-killing team and others, there probably isn't much in this world. There is a supernatural power, and the way to illuminate is something called an electric light. Providing lighting through electricity is one of the few feats of human beings. Hey, this is a bit too exaggerated. Apart from mages, can ordinary humans actually conquer thunder and lightning? Tsubaki questioned at the right time, with disbelief written all over his face. However, Li Yiming's next reaction made her have to believe what she heard. In fact, it can't be said to be conquering. People in this world call it science. They use special means to clarify the basic structure of electricity and control it. However, they are still powerless against lightning in nature. Not only that, but the force device there are often major accidents. The relevant content should be in this library, and you will be able to see it later, leader. It's incredible, is this the wisdom of human beings? Both Chun and Goddess He Faith showed amazement on their faces, and their pace also accelerated a lot involuntarily. Finally, they came to the library, which was completely different from the library Li Yiming had visited in his previous life. It was a little simpler, but it was slightly better in terms of the type and quantity of the collection. Goddess He Faith picked up a book and opened it, and the text was clear. The common characters of this world are exactly the same as Olele's. Regarding this point, Li Yiming can't explain it. He can only boil it down to the fact that the common language in the world of neon animation is neon language, the common language in the world of American comics is pretty language, and the common language in the world of Kyuuman is Hyuxia. Therefore, Goddess Faith and Tsubaki understood the content of the book almost effortlessly. Coincidentally, Tsubaki had a book on electricity in his hand. The words are obviously easy to understand, but after being combined together, the most powerful human blacksmith in Orario suddenly became clueless and felt dizzy for a while. Can humans really read these things? Is this technology? Really interesting stuff. Compared with Tsubaki, Faith, who is a god, can easily understand the knowledge in the books. Because of this, she is amazed by the wisdom of humans in this world. Compared with the human beings of Olele, it is obvious that only the behavior of human beings in this world can be called great. This library is completely a treasure trove. Even a god like her will feel that she has benefited a lot after reading it. It was really hard to believe that this would happen in the past. Is this the difference in another world? The completely opposite development is really eye-opening. After saying this, Goddess Faith raised her head again, her eyes showed sincerity. Yiming, thank you for bringing me into this world. This knowledge is enough for me to study for a long time. I have thought that besides divine power and magic power, there actually exists a kind of power called technology, which can accomplish things that neither divine power nor magic power can accomplish, and human beings full of infinite possibilities are really fascinating. It was the first time for Li Yiming to see Goddess Hitos showing such obsession. However, the red-haired goddess who is in a state of sickness and frenzy is also so fascinating. Master Shang Shen, you are too far-fetched, aren't we family? Seeing Li Yiming's reasonable tone, Goddess He Faith was also slightly taken aback, then nodded in agreement. Ah, we are family. By the way, if I want to take all these books away, there shouldn't be any problem, right? There is no problem in theory. These books are not secrets. What can be displayed is basically known to everyone. At most, it will cost a little manpower, financial resources, and material resources. She didn't expect her goddess to be so heroic, which made Li Yiming a little dazed. Is that so? That's easy. Saying so, Goddess Faith stretched out her hand, packed all the books, and got involved in a mysterious space. At the same time, she used divine power to create a large amount of gold. Placed in the very center of the library, the gleaming gold bricks are also very conspicuous in the dark. Shouldn't it be a problem? Seeing this scene, Li Yiming was really overwhelmed. The corners of his mouth twitched slightly, expressing his current mood. But there is nothing wrong with it. After all, the money is given, so it is neither stolen nor robbed. The gold is absolutely enough to buy all the books in the library, and there are even a lot of leftovers. In some respects, there really isn't any problem. Master Shang Shen is wise and powerful. I seem to have read a book about forging just now. Can you give me a good look at it when I get back? No problem. In the future, there will be an extra library in the family, which is specially used to collect books from other worlds. Only the children in the family and I are allowed to enter, and books are absolutely not allowed to be taken out. You can read them for as long as you want. Goddess He Faith spoke of her plans for the future. However, Tsubaki questioned, shouldn't it be necessary? These books can be placed in your room, Lord Shang Shen. Is it necessary to have a separate library? Where did you get so many books? Hearing this sentence, He Faith showed a meaningful smile, and looked aside intentionally or unintentionally. Who knows, maybe we can find portals to other worlds in the future. Yiming, do you think I'm right? Ugh, maybe, maybe not. Being stared at by Goddess Hetos, Li Yiming was a little flustered, so Li Yiming could only smile stiffly, and responded ambiguously, with a guilty conscience on his face. Fortunately, his red-haired goddess didn't embarrass him for too long. Several people left the library soon, and at the same time, under the leadership of Li Yiming, they went to other countries. In addition to sightseeing, they also collected books. They can also be regarded as playing the Zhongyang bandit all over the world. The next day, this strange phenomenon was discovered in many countries. The books in the largest library in the country were stolen. No trace of the crime was found, but a large amount of gold was left at the scene. This situation did not cause much disturbance. After some investigations to no avail, everyone gave up on continuing the investigation, thinking it was a supernatural phenomenon, and at the same time recorded the incident in a certain book. and the person who caused all this has already returned to the world of Demon Slayer, Blade, and returned to Olele. Unlike when they left, they returned with more people. The rock pillar mourns Yu Xingming, the wind pillar does not Daikawa Minami, and the purgatory scene Xiaolang. Now only high-end combat power is needed for the time being. After all, the Hestia family has not yet found a suitable resident. If too many people are brought back, there will be no benefit at all, but it will cause even more trouble for the Hestia family. Therefore, after consideration by Yoya Yashiki and Hestia, only these 3 candidates were brought back. Yo ho 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 ho, there are 3 outstanding children again. According to the situation, my family will definitely develop faster and faster, and sooner or later, I will become the most powerful family. Hestia, who had completely fallen into a fantasy state due to excitement, was crossing her hips at this time, showing a strange smile. Faith, who also gained a lot, immediately showed a helpless expression after hearing this sentence. Then the most powerful family leader in the future, Lord God, can I trouble you to move out of my family? Hestia froze. Faith didn't show mercy, and continued, now you have also found an excellent child and established your own family. The starting point is better than I don't know how it was back then, so you should learn to be self-reliant. Are you going to always be in the family? Shall I live here? Although you are my friend, you should also know that it is impossible for me to support you all the time. This is very unfair to my child. There is nothing wrong with what he said. The children of Faith's family can support Faith, because Faith gave them the favor of God and helped them answer difficult questions about forging. Ask for flowers. So they are obliged and responsible to support Faith. However, they are not related to Hestia, and although they will maintain the most basic respect, they have no obligation to support Hestia at all. They didn't express anything before, but they just saw the face of their main god, that's why I turn a blind eye. But now, there are so many irrelevant adventurers living in, which is very problematic. Maybe some casual family members don't care, but it doesn't mean everyone doesn't care. At least, in order to prevent his family members from. There was a conflict because of the incident, and it was impossible for her Faith to have the cheek to let her own children continue to support an irrelevant god. Even if this god is a good god friend of oneself, it is not allowed. So, Hestia, what are you going to do next? Do you need to be in such a hurry? Although I have recruited fairly good children, it is not that simple to obtain the initial funds to buy a residence. Faith, can't you be more flexible? You don't want to see your friends living on the streets, do you? Saying that, Hestia showed a pitiful look, as if she had already started to act cute. It was not the first time to see such an expression, which made Faith carelessly stroke his forehead. It's really embarrassing to make this kind of choice in person, but there's no way around it, she can't interfere anymore, it's not good for Hestia. Growing up? After all, the development of the family cannot be smooth sailing, and she still needs to work hard on her own. I'll give you the last 3 days, Hestia, quickly find a suitable place to stay, and then move out of my place. You should also learn what independence is. Hestia's face instantly collapsed. Li Yiming at the side couldn't stand it anymore, so he reminded, Hestia, actually you don't have to be so difficult, Yaze has brought a lot of gold, although several. The quantity is not particularly large, but there is no problem in buying a decent family resident. That's right, Lord Shangshen, leave the matter of the residence to us. You have given me and the children the favor of God, and now it's time for me to make an offering. Yuya Yabayashiki is also matching on the side. Really? What a help. Hestia, who was still a little depressed at first, could even be said to be at a loss, immediately regained her spirit after hearing the words of the two and became full of energy again. This scene fell into Faith's eyes, and the helplessness in the depths of his eyes reappeared. Can this guy in front of him really grow? But no matter what, Hestia can be considered to have recruited a group of good children. At least she doesn't need to continue to worry about her future life. As for what the family will develop into, it depends on how she guides it. Maybe, the other party's unattainable dream can really come true. No, it should be unlikely. No matter how you look at it, only with Li Yiming can I become the strongest family of Olalai, this is absolutely beyond doubt. The next day, everyone got up early and left the Faith family. Li Yiming plans to take a break for a few days, and by the way, make good use of the number of times through the simulation system, and will not enter the dungeon for the time being. Speaking of which, since I came to Olalai, I haven't really visited the city yet. He left the family residence early in the morning, and at the same time, Hestia, who has become full of energy after a night's rest, and Yoyoshiki, Tanjiro Kamadu, and Nekamadu beans. As for the others, they entered the dungeon again under the instigation of Fengju immortal Chuan Xia. Needless to say, in order to improve his strength and restore Yoyama Yayashiki's health, this group of people really worked hard. They only came back yesterday, but they went in again today. However, with Li Yiming's previous guidance, nothing would happen. As for Li Yiming and the others, apart from visiting Olalai, the more important thing is to spend money on the house and choose a suitable family residence. It is for this reason that the excitement on Hestia's face hangs all the way. After all, this is her first family residence. Of course, she has to choose it herself, and she must find a great place. Then Hestia, where do you want to place the family residence? While walking, Li Yiming asked Hestia. I haven't thought about it yet. Hestia was taken aback for a moment, and responded in a daze, actually, I still prefer the Street of Adventurers. It would be even better if Wei could be close to the Tower of Babel, but the price should be very expensive, so let's forget it. Then it's better to get a little closer to the family residence of Mihi and Xiaojian, so that it will be more convenient for me to visit them and Faith toss. That's about it. Hestia expressed her request in a few words. Chapter 99 Half-Elf Girl Aegina, The Future of the Hestia Family, Subscription Required. It's not too much to ask. After listening to Hestia's description, Li Yiming nodded calmly. It should be on the Adventurer Avenue, and it's better to be a little closer to the Jianyule family and the Mihi family. It's best to have a very suitable area and price. Then you can only ask professionals. After all, in this regard, we are all laymen. It would be too inefficient to search for them one by one, it would be better to do it in one step. So, Li Yiming brought Hestia and others directly to the headquarters of the Adventurers Guild. There is probably no place where Olalai would be more informed than here. Isn't this Mr. Li Yiming and Lord Hestia? What's the matter with you coming to the guild? The crowd had just entered the guild hall when Aegina, who was standing not far away and providing services, noticed their arrival, hurriedly stepped forward, and asked enthusiastically. Compared with Miss He, Aegina's business ability is obviously higher. Not only did she recognize Hestia's identity, but she also had such an easygoing attitude at all times, the natural and unique temperament of the half-elf, which attracted all the adventurers who came here. No wonder Aegina will become the dream lover of many adventurers, not without reason. Good morning, Mr. Li Yiming, god of Hestia, are you here to find members of your family? Not long ago, Ms. Butterfly Chanahui brought 3 new members of the Hestia family here to register as adventurers. Then I went straight to the Tower of Babel, so if you want to find them, you probably have to go into the dungeon to find them. Are you taking care of all my children? I really need to trouble you, Miss Half-Elf. Aegina's words made Hestia feel good. For the time being, Goddess Lolita, who has not yet developed a strange feeling for the children of the family, will not have any dissatisfaction with the dedicated staff in front of her. On the contrary, it is a good thing to have such a reliable new consultant. 687 God Hestia, you are too polite, this is my job, so do you have other things to come to the guild? That's right, Miss Aegina, in fact, Hestia wants to move out from my lord God, and is currently looking for a suitable residence for the family. We don't know the situation in this regard, so we think of taking risks. The guild will take a look at the situation, and I will follow along as a reference, after all. Having said that, Li Yiming suddenly fell silent. His eyes fell on Hestia, with a slightly strange expression. In fact, this matter was indeed entrusted by goddess Faith Hidos herself. The latter is very familiar with the somewhat weird character of her god friend. If she is really relied on, she will definitely be deceived and lose everything. It's not really deceiving, but using words to confuse. It's not that no gods have been deceived before. It's because of this kind of thing, but let that guy be laughed at in the circle of gods. So in order to avoid this kind of thing from happening, it is better to find a reliable person to watch. I probably understand, so God Hestia wants to know if Oleli can be a resident, and is there a good place to sell it recently? That's right, that's what I mean. Hestia nodded quickly, completely failing to hear the deep meaning in Li Yiming's words. Okay, then please come with me. Ayanna beckoned Li Yiming and the others to follow quickly, then went straight into the staff passage, and took out a small parchment scroll from inside after a while. It records some of the properties that Oleli wants to sell. These are all attached to the Adventurers Guild after formal procedures. After all, not everyone can afford such things as real estate. Many of the large-scale real estate prices are very expensive, and only the family members are favored, so for convenience, the Adventurers Guild is generally entrusted to sell them. However, after the transaction is concluded, a part of the handling fee will probably be charged. I've kept you waiting for a long time. These are the recent information about properties that are intended for sale. Oleli has them in all regions. So, God Hestia, do you have any special requests? As long as the location is on the Avenue of the Adventurers, not too far from the residences of Jianyu Thunder God and Mihi God. Li Yiming explained instead of Hestia. The choice will be much smaller, and the price will not be more expensive, but I remember that there is indeed a real estate that meets the requirements for sale recently. Please wait a moment, let me look for it first. It's okay, we have a lot of time, Miss Aegina, don't worry. It didn't put too much pressure on Aegina. Finding a family resident was not a matter of overnight. Goddess Faith Hidos gave her 3 days, which should be enough. Real estate is no different than anything else, you have to choose the most suitable one. Everyone stopped talking, only Aegina's voice of flipping through the documents and the voices of adventurers chatting in other areas of the adventurers' hall remained. However, because the hall occupies a large area, it does not feel too noisy. About 10 minutes later, Hestia was a little restless because of the anticipation, but fortunately, Aegina also found the real estate she was talking about in time. I found it, it's here. As she said that, the half-elf girl pulled out a piece of paper, which recorded relevant information about the real estate, its location, contents, selling price, and reason for selling, etc. As the largest organization in Orario, the Adventurers Guild service can be described as meticulous. In order to avoid after-sales disputes, they usually investigate all the situations clearly, and then let the buyer know the specific situation, so as to consider whether he should buy it or not. This is probably also the reason why the Adventurers Guild has been able to prosper for so long. Let me see, let me see. Hestia, who had been impatient for a long time, was the first to take the paper handed over by Aegina. Her big blue eyes quickly scanned it, and there was anticipation in her pupils. Regarding this behavior, Li Yiming suddenly showed a helpless expression. Sorry, Miss Aegina, Hestia was a little too rude, please forgive me, after all, this is the first time for her to establish a family and choose the residence of the family, so. No, I understand God Hestia's emotions very well. It is indeed a very happy thing to be able to establish your own family. Aegina shook her head lightly, with a faint smile on her face, expressing her understanding. In fact, this is not the first time she has seen this kind of situation, although she has not worked in the Adventurers Guild for too long and has seen many kinds of situations. During this period, the emotional changes of the gods did not seem to be much different from those of humans. Yiming Jun, come and help me see. Hestia's voice suddenly sounded, interrupting the conversation between the two. Li Yiming could only show an apologetic expression again, and then, with Aegina's understanding smile, shifted his gaze to Hestia again. The lowly goddess was holding the information paper in her hand, yelling excitedly. What's wrong? Hestia. This place perfectly met all our requirements. It was originally a hotel, but because the boss died unfortunately when he left Oleli to visit relatives, and his family didn't want to stay in Oleli, that's why the hotel was suspended. Sell it at the Adventurers Guild, and the price is very good. After receiving the information paper from Hestia, Li Yiming roughly scanned it. The location is really good. This is a hotel with a yard. It covers an area of about 300 square meters. The entrance of the yard was originally a subsidiary property of the hotel, a small restaurant, and the resting place is in the small building at the back. In addition, there is another single-family villa, which is the place where the innkeeper rests. The backyard, which occupies almost half of the area, was once used to keep horses. If it is really sold here, it can be remodeled to a certain extent, which is indeed a very good choice, at least from the existing information. It's really good, but can we go and see the specific situation first and then make a decision? Even though most of the decisions have been made in his heart, Li Yiming is still not hasty, but wants to see the specific situation of this property before making a decision. Of course there is no problem, I will take you there. Li Yiming's reaction was completely in Aegina's expectation. Everyone reached a consensus, and then Aegina put all the information back into the Adventurers Guild, and then led everyone to leave the Adventurers Guild. The team changed from 5 people to 6 people. Soon, under the leadership of Aegina, everyone found the entrance of a single-family building with a yard, and the sign of the hotel was hung on the plaque. That's it, let's go in. Aegina took out the key from her pocket, and then pushed the wooden door open. As described in the information, the entrance is indeed a restaurant-like place with a moderate area. After a quick scan, there are at least 10 tables. Other than that, the rest of the places are exactly the same as the records, and the various buildings have not been in disrepair for a long time. It is indeed a very good choice of residence. At least, after Hestia came in, the glowing eyes never went out. Looking at her like this, she probably already likes this place. Li Yiming probably knows how to choose. After strolling around the whole yard, not only Hestia and Li Yiming were very satisfied, but also their companions, Kamato Tanjiro, Kamato Nezuko, and Yabayashiki Yoya. There are a total of 2 villas, each with 3 floors, which can accommodate quite a few people, plus the backyard. It is quite perfect to use this place as a family residence. Facing Hestia's questioning eyes, Li Yiming smiled and nodded. Then it's decided, the family's residence is here. As the head god of the family, Hestia waved her hand and immediately decided to take it down. Of course, the purchase fee needs to be paid by Yuyamiyashiki. After all, she's been living with the Faith family of Hatwasi, it's basically penniless. After the verbal transaction is reached, the next step is the transfer ceremony of the title deed. Aegina returned to the Adventurers Guild with everyone, and after Yoya Yabayashiki took out enough gold, she successfully got the title deed of this hotel. So from now on, the Hestia family also has their own residence. Hey, it's really great, I also have my own residence, hey. When he came out of the Adventurers Guild, Hestia hugged the title deed tightly, with an excited smile on his face. This kind of behavior seemed a little silly. Li Yiming suddenly showed a helpless smile on the side, but he also expressed his understanding. It's not a good feeling to live under the fence. Congratulations, Hestia. Li Yiming sent his own blessing just right. Thank you, Mr. Yiming, thank you for your help. If it weren't for you, I don't know how long it would take to establish a family. Thank you for bringing these outstanding children to me. Even if it was something that had already been said, Hestia repeated it again at this time. This lowly goddess is very clear that this child in front of her has changed her life. If the other party hadn't appeared, she would probably still be a rice bug in the He Faith family. Thinking of the scene where she was driven out by He Faith Toss one day in the future, Hestia couldn't help but tremble. It would be too embarrassing for a dignified goddess to sleep on the street. If that kind of thing really happened, that guy Loki would definitely laugh at him to death, but now it's alright, the family is developing in an orderly manner, and sooner or later, she will bring her own children and turn the family into one of the most powerful families of Orario. Humph. When the time comes, you must make fun of the roadbed. By the way, Yiming-kun, tonight I plan to celebrate the founding of the family and the celebration of moving to a new house. Please come and participate when the time comes. I will also invite He Faith and Tsubaki. Suddenly thought of something, and Hestia's eyes were full of anticipation. Seeing this scene, Li Yiming naturally had no reason to refuse, and nodded generously. No problem, Hestia, I will go there tonight, but do you need my help? You should invite a lot of people, right? Is it really okay to cook alone? No problem at all, I'm the kitchen god, so you can look forward to the dinner tonight. Speaking, in order to increase the persuasiveness of the words, Hestia patted her arm proudly. After finishing the most important thing of the day, a group of people returned to the family of Faith Hitos and told the goddess Hitos Faith the news. The red-haired goddess also showed a gratified smile when she learned about it. In the future, he shouldn't have to worry about his god friend anymore. Next, with the help of Li Yiming, all the luggage of the members of the Hestia family were moved to the new home. Even the former members of the ghost-killing squad will probably be separated temporarily in the future. However, the bond between them will not be broken. Fortunately, there were not many things, and the relocation was completed in just 1 hour. Naturally, Hestia, who got a new residence, was not idle. She led Tanjiro Kamado and Nezuko Kamado to clean up the residence inside and out. As far as possible, the inn, which had been unoccupied for a long time, has once again regained its vitality. After being busy, Hestia went out again and invited Jianyu Leishen and Mihi to join in the celebration at night. He said he didn't need Li Yiming's help, but it was not an easy task to prepare food for at least a dozen people in such a short time. In order to prevent Hestia from losing the chain, Li Yiming can only actively participate in helping. He and Hestia are in charge of the chef, and Tanjiro Kamado and Nezuko Mamado are on the sidelines. As for Yoya Yashiki, of course, it is to see if there is anything else that needs to be sorted out. It's really strange that someone who was obviously not a member of the Hestia family was pulled over as a strong man. In fact, Li Yiming does not reject this situation. In his previous life, he once imagined that occasionally he would gather with his friends, and everyone would chat while making delicious food. That kind of life was really pleasant. Unfortunately, the ubiquitous involution and pressure make that kind of life a luxury. It's just that I didn't expect that the life I once dreamed of would become a reality. This feeling is really good, and it would be great if it can last forever. In the kitchen, Li Yiming did not forget to chat with Hestia about other matters. Olalai's family members are divided into many types, and maintaining the basic operation of the family members requires a lot of funds, and it is obviously not a good choice to rely solely on exploration. This is fully reflected in the Loki family. Although the Loki Familia is one of the twin kings of Orario, every time a large-scale dungeon event is held, the mana cost is an astronomical sum. The maintenance of the equipment alone is very expensive, let alone the maintenance of the equipment. There are magic potions that are consumed halfway. Therefore, maintaining the normal operation of the family is not a simple matter. After hearing these words, Hestia also gradually realized her responsibility. If she wants to contribute to the family, at least she can't become their burden. So with Li Yiming's suggestion, she probably knew what to do. Isn't there a ready-made direction in the station? Chapter 100. The nanny doesn't want to help anymore, she has a heart to export. Seeking subscription. House of Hestia. It's a very simple and rude name. This is the name goddess Hestia gave her family's residents, and the others have no objections at all. However, after learning that they and others also have a resident, they are quite happy. As night fell, the members who went to the dungeon returned one after another, and they had been told in advance, so they did not spend the night in the dungeon, but returned to the ground on time. As a result, the relocation celebration banquet of the Hestia family can also start on time. The invited goddess Hestia, god of thunder, and god Mihi arrived one after another, and expressed their praise and blessings to Hestia, and at the same time expressed their gratitude to the latter for being able to recruit such an excellent family member, and in such a short period of time. The time to develop to this point expresses envy. Especially Jianyu Lishan and Mi Heshan felt a pang of sadness in their hearts. They had to go down to the realm a while earlier than Hestia. God Mihi had experienced the ups and downs of his family, and now he was working diligently to pay off his debts. However, Jianyu Lishan, as a god of war, he has not found a suitable way to carry forward his family. Never expected that Hestia would catch up with them so quickly. Although being a friend of the gods will initiate blessings, this feeling of gap is really uncomfortable enough. Fortunately, the personalities of several gods are very gentle. Maybe when they were in the heavens, the gods were more or less extreme, but since the lower realms, they have changed subtly in the relationship with human beings, and there are still differences. Character, but it is not as extreme as before. So while feeling envious, I still have deep blessings. All of a sudden, it was originally a celebratory banquet, but now it has completely turned into a small divine meeting. Hestia, who is the party involved, is completely let go, yelling continuously while drinking. The scene was very lively, which can be called a happy gathering. Li Yiming enjoys this atmosphere very much. Human beings are indeed social creatures. When staying with like-minded friends, even the mood becomes happy. Yiming-kun, can you come here for a while? At this moment, Butterfly Ninja suddenly came to his side, and in this noisy environment, he leaned into his ear and whispered something. These 19 words made the smile on Li Yiming's face disappear instantly. Looking back at the girl's serious expression, she nodded in understanding. I see, let's go over there and talk. With that said, Li Yiming stood up slowly, and followed Dai Dai Ren to the corner of the room. Everyone not far away was chatting happily, pushing cups and changing cups, toasting each other. The atmosphere can be said to be extremely good. Even the guy who is usually very serious, now smiled from the bottom of his heart. Leaving aside other things, at least there is no need to worry about the atmosphere of the Hestia family. It seems that everyone is very satisfied with this kind of life. It's been a long time since it was so lively, so Shinobu, what's the matter with you looking for me here alone? Yes, Mr. Yiming, I do have a very important matter. Butterfly Ren's expression was a little hesitant. He hesitated for a moment, then suddenly raised his head. I have something I want to hear from you. Oh? Then I'm a little curious, let's hear it. Li Yiming seemed very concerned about what the girl said, and immediately assumed the attitude of a listener. On such a lively day, Dai Ren didn't feel the slightest bit of happiness, but fell into entanglement. That matter must be serious. It's like this. Today I entered the dungeon with everyone. I watched my sisters fight with monsters. I could only be protected on the sidelines. I tried to fight a hellhound, but I couldn't even cut its muscles open. I don't want to be like this anymore, and I also want to help everyone. So that's what happened. Li Yiming seemed a little disappointed after hearing the words, thinking he would hear something. However, I always feel like I have heard this kind of statement somewhere. It seems that during the time-traveling simulation, Kuina also said the same words. They all think that their strength is not as good as that of others, so they have the same emotion. Should I say it or not, these two little girls are really very similar. So is this a teenage problem? Some pictures of girls in confusion and needing life guidance appeared in the mind, and Li Yiming's expression became a little weird. Shaking his head quickly, he threw away the strange thoughts from his mind. So are you confused because of your small strength and relatively weak strength? Yes, my strength is weaker than ordinary people. When fighting ghosts before, I couldn't even cut their necks, let alone the monsters with better defense now. I don't want to continue like this. I don't want to be a burden to everyone. When it came to this topic, Butterfly Ninja became even more emotional. Realizing what she had done, the girl subconsciously looked around, only to be slightly relieved when she found that no one else heard her. Yiming Jun, you are very powerful, and at the same time you have a talent that even Lord God admires, so there must be a solution, right? Can you tell me how to become stronger? For it. So is it another girl who wants to become stronger? For some reason, the face of that girl AISI suddenly appeared in Li Yiming's mind. It is also the same pursuit of powerful power, although the purpose is different, but the result is almost the same, but why everyone can find it in themselves. First it was Ace, then it was Kuina who traveled through the simulated world, and now it was Butterfly Ninja. It's really complicated. Actually, Shinobi, I have already mentioned your position before. With healing magic, you can also relieve the poison state. You have become the core of the team. You don't need to pursue powerful power at all. You only need to ensure the safety of your teammates. They will protect you. After struggling with the wording for a while, Li Yiming expressed his opinion. However, it was this sentence that made the expression on Butterfly Shinobu's face even more dissatisfied. I don't want to rely on other people's protection, I also want to fight with everyone. But you, oh. Headache, now there is only one thought of headache. The nanny doesn't want to treat other people, but just wants to charge forward. How can people explain this? You are not a man who starts a group and puts a cross on the ground. Why are you thinking so much all day long? Obviously able to lie down, but has a heart of output, really far-sighted. Forget it, it's probably useless for me to say anything, so you just don't want to hide behind alone and be protected by other people after entering the dungeon. It's not that you hate treatment. There should be no problem with this understanding, right? Well, I don't hate treatment, on the contrary, I like to study medical skills, but I want to fight with everyone when no one is injured. Under the guidance of Li Yiming, Butterfly Ninja finally fully expressed his demands. This sentence undoubtedly made people breathe a sigh of relief. Although the nanny has some ideas, at least she hasn't completely given up her job. She just wants a set of output equipment and a set of buff equipment. There is no problem at all. Your problem is actually easy to solve, and it's not particularly difficult. Really? Butterfly Shinobu seemed very pleasantly surprised. That's right. Li Yiming nodded lightly, and continued, there are two solutions, one is to make the weapon into a special shape as you did before, don't you have the doctor skill? You just need to develop all kinds of poisons can be produced by cutting open the monster's body and injecting them, and the effect can be achieved without any power at all. To put it simply, it is to create a fighting style that belongs only to you. In my hometown, there are a group of guys who are good at using poison. They may not have great strength, but they can inject poison into the target's body silently. You can definitely think in this direction, and it should be able to solve your troubles. Li Yiming's words were like enlightenment, and Dai Dai couldn't help but fell into thinking. She had only studied wisteria flower poison that is useful to evil spirits before, but after coming to Oleli, she hadn't thought about it in this direction, so calming down now is indeed a very good way. The girl suddenly became very excited. And what about another solution? The other one is a little more difficult, Li Yiming continued, not surprised by Butterfly Ninja's inquiry. Since you feel that you are not strong enough, you should just train your strength. I just learned a new set of skills recently. Physical training methods that strengthen the body. However, the only downside is that this exercise method is very difficult, and the effect is not fast, at least it will take months or even years. That's right, what Ji Riming was talking about was the Navy bodybuilding offering. This is also the reward he just got from traversing the simulation system. Although he knows it, he has never taught it to others. It can be said that Butterfly Ninja just caught up. However, how to choose specifically needs to be carefully considered by the other party. It is not easy to practice physical skills. There is no other way except to exercise the body day after day, so it is obviously unrealistic to expect to see results in a short period of time. Butterfly Ninja was also lost in thought. Seeing this, Li Yiming didn't bother her. After a while, this raised his head again. Looks like you've already made up your mind. Well, I will research new types of poisons and use them in battle. At the same time, I also want to increase my strength. Mr. Yiming, can you teach me the method of physical training? Butterfly Ninja made Li Yiming a little surprised. You really are a greedy woman. I want to become stronger, and I want to protect my sister and the others. Butterfly resisted answering irrelevant questions, but her gaze was very firm, which also made Li Yiming feel the other party's determination. Since the other party is willing to learn, then he is also willing to teach. At any rate, the relationship between the two is not bad. To be precise, they have a good relationship with each other's sister, Butterfly Connie, and they are also members of the same family. It is not a problem to teach naval exercise to Butterfly Ninja, but maybe needs to be improved a bit. After all, the world is different, and human physiques are also different. At least the training intensity must be weakened, otherwise the girl's body will be crippled by the high-intensity training in just one day. Who makes me soft-hearted, I promise you, let's start tomorrow. Thank you, Mr. Yiming, you are such a good person. After getting the desired reply, Butterfly Ninja became obviously very excited. However, the words in her mouth made Li Yiming's face darken. He rolled his eyes angrily, and said in an exhorting voice, Xiao Ren, I'll give you a piece of advice, don't just say that a man is a good person. That's not a nice evaluation. Huh? Butterfly Ren suddenly showed a puzzled look. Seeing the age gap, the other party didn't understand what he said, so Li Yiming could only shake his head slightly. You just think I'm talking nonsense, the matter of training you starts tomorrow, let's have a good time right now. Well, we can't spoil everyone's interest because of other things, right? I see, thank you. After thanking again, Butterfly Shinobu stood up first and returned to Butterfly Connie. The two sisters got together to discuss something in a low voice. Li Yiming didn't know, but seeing the corners of Dai Dai Ren's slightly raised mouth, but then recovered instantly, he also smiled helplessly. In the lively atmosphere, the celebration banquet came to an end soon. Mihi and Jianyu Lishan drank like mud. Hestia was a little delirious, lying on the table and talking nonsense. Even Goddess He Faith began to be a little masculine. Leisurely. After all, the gods who have sealed their divine power are no different from ordinary people. That's all for today. Li Yiming's words were unanimously approved by everyone, and then everyone began to clean up the mess. Members of the Jianyule family arrived first, and took their main god away with a helpless expression, but judging from their accustomed expressions, it was obvious that this was not the first time. Up. Afterwards, Naza, the only member of Mihi's family, also came and carried God Kahi back. With the help of Butterfly Chanahui and other girls, Hestia easily sent her back to her own villa, and then Li Yiming took Goddess He Faith to leave. Orario at night is still beautiful, and the 883 stars twinkling in the night sky tell the bright future of everyone. The next day, not affected by the hangover, Li Yiming slowly woke up. Leaving the room, Butterfly Connie had disappeared, leaving Butterfly Ninja and Zushi staying in the newly organized library of the He Faith family, studying various medical skills. Without Butterfly Ninja, the nurse, the members of the Demon Slayer squad didn't dare to be too presumptuous, and probably only dared to stay on a slightly higher floor to fight monsters. There is still a long way to go from the target floor, and we must redouble our efforts. Good morning, Shinobu, Zushi, you are really hard-working. After breakfast, Li Yiming learned everything from Chun, and then went straight to the library, and saw the two girls sitting on the desk discussing something in an instant. Although they didn't blush from the fight, it was very intense from the words. The arrival of Li Yiming just relieved the tense atmosphere, and the two women turned around at the same time. Good morning, Yiming-kun. It's getting late. Compared with you, I'm pretty lazy. Li Yiming scratched his head helplessly, but he didn't think there was anything wrong with his schedule. He is going to take a good rest for a few days, and by the way, take advantage of this time to train Butterfly Ninja well. Since the other party asked him to come to him, and he chose to agree, then naturally he would not be perfunctory. Improving the strength of Butterfly Ninja is also beneficial to the He Faith family. Very helpful. At the same time, it is also good for Li Yiming himself. What are you talking about? It's not a big deal, it's just a refutation of a certain point of view. Lord Shangshen brought back too many books from our world, many of which we don't have. After reading it, I benefited a lot for a while, and coupled with the books about medical skills in this world, it is a little bit unacceptable. Zushi said this with a smile on his face. There is also a touch of fire in his eyes. Zushi, who had already killed Oni Mitsuji and restored human beings, now has nothing else to ask for. The only thing that can cause her inner changes is probably the study of medicine. Oleli undoubtedly provided very good conditions, coupled with the raw materials provided by the monsters in the dungeon. This world is really wonderful. Is that so? I can't help you with that. Li Yiming spread his hands slightly, and then his expression became serious. But now, Miss Zushi, I probably want to borrow Zyren for a while. Isn't it convenient? Of course it's convenient. Shinobu has already mentioned it to me. It's really troublesome for you, Mr. Rhyming. No, this is what I should do, and you don't have to be so polite. Aren't we friends? Friends should help each other as much as they can, isn't it right? Then I'm counting on you, Yiming Jun. This is the stamina recovery potion I concocted. I just learned it not long ago, and the effect is limited. I hope it can work for you. As he spoke, Zushi handed over 2 glass bottles. What a help! Chapter 101 Tailor-Made Training Methods, Learn to be beaten before hitting someone. Monthly ticket plus subscription required. With Butterfly Bear, Li Yiming came to the backyard. This place is usually used as a leisure place for the members of He Faith's family. Sometimes when they are tired from blacksmithing, they will come to this place to relax a little. Now, none of the family members have come back. Some of them are looking for materials in the dungeon, and the other is probably in the weapon store that was set up inside the Tower of Babel. So now the yard is deserted, which is just convenient for Li Yiming to do things next. In the huge courtyard, there are only Li Yiming and Butterfly Shinobi now. I accepted the physical strength recovery potion that Zushi had given to me before. I never expected that Zushi's talent was so good that he could fiddle with the magic potion without systematic study. Although Butterfly Ninja's magic can restore physical strength, no one knows whether she can cast it later. It is also a good thing to prepare in advance so that you don't have to worry about physical strength loss. Problem. Mr. Yiming, let's start now. Butterfly Shinobi's eyes were full of longing, and his expression was full of impatience. However, looking at the girl's makeup, Li Yiming frowned subconsciously, and then said, Xiao Ren, you should change into a workout outfit first. This outfit is not conducive to the next training, maybe it will hinder. Change into a slightly looser clothes. I see. Butterfly Ninja could only suppress the restlessness in her heart, turned around and went back to the room to change clothes. After a while, she returned to the backyard, and now she has completely changed into slim training clothes. Her good figure can't be concealed at all, and Li Yiming subconsciously took a second look. Fortunately, the latter's powerful control made him forget his wild thoughts. Then we're going to start now. Hi. Hearing this, Butterfly Ninja's gaze also became firm. Very good, I hope you can still have such a spirit later. So now, put these 5 things on your body, and start running around the whole of Orario. Watching Li Yiming's movements, Butterfly subconsciously lowered her head and looked towards the ground. At some point, there were already 5 kinds of things on the ground, one of which looked like clothes, and the other 4 seemed to be wristbands, which made Butterfly Shinobu's expression a little strange. So let her prepare so many things, and the result is to come for a run? Butterfly Ninja couldn't understand it. This was completely different from the special training he had imagined. Isn't this the most basic physical training? It's not like she hasn't done this kind of training before. The effect is not obvious at all, it's completely useless. Don't look at me like that. The things I want to give you must be supported by strong physical fitness, otherwise you will never be able to display them, so physical training is a must. I got these things from the leader. The training clothes add up to about 500 caddies, which are just right for you to train. Of course, it's okay for you to regret it now. I can do it. Li Yiming shrugged nonchalantly, with a relaxed expression. But he didn't say a word. If Butterfly Ren chooses to give up now, then if he still thinks about training later, he won't pay too much attention to it. Some things, giving up may be really giving up. Forget it, let me demonstrate it to you. The next thing I will teach you is called 6 styles, which are 6 powerful moves. Only those who have broken through the limits of the human body can learn them. Simply put, those who are the weakest in LV.2 level adventurer, that is, an adventurer whose ability value is only D and can be upgraded, it is impossible to perform this trick, and you will only collapse if you don't have a strong body. The first trick is to shave. Bass. As soon as the voice fell, Butterfly Ninja heard a piercing sound of breaking wind. The strong wind around her almost made her unable to open her eyes. When everything stabilized and she opened her eyes again, she suddenly found that Li Yiming in front of her had completely disappeared and appeared on the other side of the yard. It's only a few breaths before and after, this speed can't be captured by sight at all. Even the ghosts that have been encountered before, or the monsters in the dungeon, don't have such terrifying speed, and don't even have a chance to react. This is really terrifying. Bass. It was the same voice again, and Li Yiming returned to Butterfly Shinobi. The girl still couldn't capture any movement trajectory, as if she had crossed the space, and appeared in front of her eyes in an instant. That kind of calm and breezy expression made people even more frightened. This is shaving, a high-speed moving move. In a very short period of time, the feet step on the ground dozens of times in a row, and then move at a high speed through the reaction force, which is almost impossible to catch with the naked eye. That's why, I want to let the reason you did basic training, Do you still want to learn it now? I want to learn. When saying this, Butterfly Ninja's tone can only be described as decisive.